the dream is. So I can't start losing ground, losing ground. So I can't stop. From the wild. So I can't stop.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. What's going on, everybody? Another wonderful day in the markets. Take a look at this stuff real quick before the open, see if we can't get set up for today. Wanted to give a little bit of a macro update since markets have been moving with some decent volatility lately. And I really want to just bring the daily picture into a scope. I think now more than ever it begins to matter what actually happens. We've been talking, for those of you that rock with me through all the changes and all that, all that fun shit. All right, if you've been here, you've been listening to me since November. We've been talking a lot about this eventually spilling over and just doing the things that we're kind of doing now. So some of those things are taking out E's equal O's, which we did into the close last week, and just ultimately falling from what we've been discussing for a long time, pretty much. I mean, all through up in this range of this just being distribution, swiping highs, taking lows. So a lot of that has begun to play out. Let me just turn this music down a little more. I'm missing. Right, so we've been talking about that stuff for a decent amount of time now. One of two things begin to happen now. We either really do begin to just mark down, which usually brings really shallow retracements. Preferred POIs don't normally get hit. It's kind of really just local liquidity that gets hit in markdown periods. So the question is, like, right now we're getting a little bit of a bullish day today. Got 7 hours left on the day here, but as of right now we're printing a pretty decent bullish candle. The real question is not really so much what happens today. That's cool and all. We'll see if we can find a trade. But I'm more concerned about what happens to this candle in the macro. Does this become a lone candle for us in a deeper markdown phase? Which would mean that we're going to continue within the next day or two? Or do we begin to, now that we kind of taken some lows here, do we begin to, you know, close back up and formulate out a new redistribution here before we continue lower? So that's really what I'll be looking at this week. Of course, if something does set up for us to play continuations into essentially what's the rest of the week here, for this being a lone candle, fantastic, right? Something like what we got here, where you don't get any more bullish closes after the fact and you just continue to trickle down. Or are we starting a new cycle? Hopefully we're not starting a new cycle. I would like to see this spill over a little bit more. I would like to see it come maybe contest some of this. Yeah, really kind of just seeing what happens there. There's also some possibility that the daily again does turn into a smaller redistribution, and instead on the weekly we get a lone candle. Again, I think that sets up for a boring week, so we're gonna hope that's not the case. But I really bring all of that up because in the macro, if we are right, if more pain is going to become of this monthly chart, I really do think that we come and we take out this low at 17.3. Now this could be something that happens over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. It could be something that takes a little bit longer. I don't know. We're gonna have to fight through that each day. But based off what I'm seeing, I would like to see some acceleration down towards that. So we'll see what today brings. We'll see if this wants to turn into a lone candle. Again, I'm willing to play today to see if we want to get some continuations, or as I kind of posted on X and in the Discord last night, I really do think those, for those of you that were able to take some of those 3-minute local setups last night during Asian session, I think really are the breadwinners of today. I don't really think we get much else executable for me, but we shall see. So yeah, a little bit of a macro update. Just to add to that, a lot of my reasoning with that is you have things like Apple, which we still expect much lower on, right? I'm bringing a little bit of the stock analysis into this. Again, we've been mostly bearish on this. I mean, we started being bearish on this like way back again in November, December. Again, what do you have here? Reaccumulations that push up, unsustainable, come back, grab liquidity. Equal lows that we're looking to target. So again, a lot of the stocks look like they want to continue. Again, other stuff on our radar, you know, selling Nvidia from the spike at 196. Again, moving into its equal lows, still looking for like 120. Again, Tesla, another one, trading below some of its equal lows that we've been talking about for some months. Again, grabbing liquidity up at 480, taking the lows at 380, and then of course we discussed as low as 257. So if we're gonna get all these things in stocks, and again, maybe excuse me, maybe some of this stuff does get annoying in the sense that it does something like this. It takes a little bit longer to make that secondary move. But again, all of this just kind of adds into that logic of, I just think NQ falls a lot further. There's a lot of people looking at this as a generational buying opportunity. Right, I've seen that called this on social media. Oh, don't be scared about, markets only go up and this and that. I don't think this is a generational buying opportunity spot. I'm gonna just be honest with you. We had a generational buying opportunity, and again, we talked about that much when it happened. Some of you weren't even trading back then, right? When we were all the way back down at 12K during COVID. This is generational buying. Up here, after the market has doubled in more than 5 years, is not the definition of generational buying opportunity, in my opinion. I mean, you might get another quote-unquote generational opportunity if we slip below like 16, but I think calling this a generational buying opportunity is so fucking short-sighted, it's not even funny. So yeah, now we kind of got that stuff out of the way. In terms of stuff happening intraday, we do have a little bit of an OB setup here in the 15-minute. Again, I do think this is a little interesting. I mean, again, you're kind of swiping some highs there. You're pushing above the highs from overnight. So there could be some possibility here, whether you want to take the better entry now, or if after the open, which would be the preferred thing. See if we do that. Now that we just opened up and kind of tested into that, we'll see what happens here. See if this holds. This is something I have in on an eval, so I might lose $300 on an eval if this ends up failing. I think I have a slightly better entry down here. But that eval is currently negative, so I'm trying to recoup that one after last week's pretty shitty week. Now, in terms of this OB, I don't really expect this to do anything crazy for us. If it does decide to play out, I'd be really just looking at this 15-minute lone candle. That's all I'd be interested in out of that eval. I wouldn't put personal funds behind this. We're too bullish, and as I told you guys last night, I think the bread-winning trade was the people that got to trade from down here, right? As I said, what you want to be going into New York with today is these positions from the low of day. I would just be looking to milk those. I'd be looking to hold those. That's why I'm not really looking to execute too much today, and so I'm really looking to see how this daily candle ends up closing. Ideally this lone candle, if we're gonna play that logic, stays below this wick, only because I'd want to play like a wick fill on this into tomorrow maybe, but I think I probably won't end up getting that. For those of you that weren't active last night and are confused about the 3-minute trade, this is what I mean by this being the bread-winning position. Is overnight, again at that 8 o'clock hour, right, the inverse of when we want to be trading in the morning, you had a beautiful buildup of liquidity, got all these lows right off the previous day low. Alright, you push below that, you get the OB print. And then you get about 6 minutes to execute on that trade idea. And then that played immediately up into TP1 and almost immediately up into TP2. Took a little bit of a pullback, pushed right up into TP2. Like I said, that's what you kind of want to be holding into today. Ideally, for us not involved, again, the best bet for us is that we take out these lows. Play into this 15-minute lone candle, and then give us a potential re-entry maybe after 10 a.m. to, play back up into high a day. So that's what I'll be looking for. Again, I do have some eval positions live from this OB here. I do have little faith in them, but I would like to survive that trade. That 3 minute was beautiful from last night. Again, typically I like to tell you guys, when you have a trade that beautiful from Asian or London, trying to fight it in New York is more times than not, you're just gonna lose. So again, that's why I'm not confident in this OB here. Right? You know, again, I'm playing statistics on that eval. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. You know, I'll be happy if it works, I'll be sad if it doesn't. But I'm definitely in this trade with the assumption that it's not going to be great, which is exactly why I don't put live personal funds behind it. Gold also had a similar setup last night. I know some people caught. This is equally just as nice. Right? Buildup of local liquidity, recent liquidity. Equal lows here and here. Somewhat equal lows. Again, they're not picture perfect. But beautiful move here. You actually ended up getting a double print here, which is a little bit nicer than the NQ. Well, you sweep that liquidity, get the double print, order block plus absorption, and then that played very nicely up into TP1. Just missing TP2. Hasn't played up into TP2 quite yet. But it also looked like this reprinted this morning as well. You had a counter print here, but I doubt you take that with that nice print there. That'd be weird. But again, here you have some overnight lows. Not as quite as nice in terms of being equal. You have this wick, which pushed into a 15-minute lone candle. So again, if we extend the lone candle out, right, visually, you guys can see that kind of just re-swiping that lone candle. Getting some more absorption here in the morning, and then that played up into TP1. And again, both TPs at this point, both TP2s at this point looking near high a day. So some nice action happening in gold. Again, it's been a little bit since I've personally executed on gold. And I'm only just seeing this print here for the first time. But yeah, shout out to anybody that caught those OB and absorption plays last night. This is a little choppy for my liking. And again, this print is recent to the kind of pre-market action. So again, I would expect gold to just try to continue to play these. If it comes back, it comes back, but both positions should have been partialed out of at this point. In all honesty, exiting this early, too, wouldn't have been a terrible idea. Yeah, this ran... $134 in an hour and a half? I don't know. I think you're just crazy to not secure that. Alright, let's see. NQ. Really playing with that OB stop. Yeah, I would say if this reprints an absorption off that open candle, I would still maybe say this is valid for people that are late to it. Again, if we can erase this, and if we can get lower time frame prints, which now don't look great because this candle's going to turn around. But if we get back below the open price, could be an option there. I just think trying to fight this is reckless. Yeah, I exited around 46.30 on gold. Yeah, that's fantastic. Even if you saw it like pop up and then like start to break down, yeah, that's nothing wrong with that. Good trailing stop, honestly. Just trailing behind structure. I probably, if I would have had a trailing stop on this, that I was moving up. I mean, as it moved up into here, my stop's either below this. If I'm really trying to just exit, though, I might have put it at the open of this candle. again, that's really not that big of a difference, so I probably just keep it here. But yeah, 60 or 46.30s, yeah, good exit on that gold, man. Nice catch. This print at the same exact time as NQ 824. 5 minute wasn't. Yeah, so yeah, these printed on the same exact candle close. So, all right, let's watch NQ here though. Let's see if we find this 15-minute setup worthwhile. I'm gonna just clean some of this up, turn off some of the overnight stuff. Like that. Yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice to get some sort of reason to come back for some of this. I just think that maybe it's not today. Alright, sometimes you have liquidity like this, and again, you still just need to capture higher first. So we'll keep an eye on that, but I think the possibility that we still play up into that wick, up into some of this lone candle is still pretty high. That's that candle. There was some interesting potential absorption down here. Unfortunately, a lot of the volume is in the candle that drove price down. So it's in this candle. But you can see that volume kind of upticked down into that. We just didn't get a timely erase on it. Yeah, maybe we leave that to come back later in this week would be nice. You can manually set the alerts through TradingView, you just have to do each time frame and symbol. Yeah, first, if you guys are talking about the app that's on maybemarkets.com, like the CFD alerts. So a primary reason I've kind of like slowed down work on that is, one, most of us primarily trade futures, so that shit really don't help us being CFDs. Because again, you're gonna get different prints because of the volume. Second, the app is up. Y'all have access. Go have fun. Like, ain't nothing stopping you guys. So yeah, you guys can go do that for sure. However, if you want alerts on the future stuff, you guys can set alerts. Now this is how you do this depends, and I have all mine stopped right now, but how you do this is gonna depend on your TradingView tier. Right, so I don't know what kind of membership you have, but you can add an alert, and then under condition, you can set this to the indicator, and then again, depending on your on how you use TradingView and what alert you have, you can set a couple of different things with this. So you can set at the top, you can set it to just work on NQ. You could set it, if you have like a higher tier like I do, you could set it on a watch list. So anything inside of that watch list will trigger. So for me, if I wanted to, I could set it to work on NQ, MNQ, ES, MES, the Dow, gold, silver, everything that I have on this watch list. And then you just do any alert function call, which I'll explain that, but there's a way you can tweak this. And then interval, same as chart, so 5 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you want to set that to. Notifications, again, set this up how you want, alright? Email, fucking notify an app, that's what I do, because it just pushes all my devices. And then you just create that. So now this is going to just watch all of these. Alright, it's just going to be active on everything. Now, some things I want to inform you guys, if you guys are going to set up alerts like that, make sure the indicator is the way you want it to be. What I mean by that is when you set this alert, the settings that you have on this are going to be set on the alert perfectly. So if you, for example, I set this alert and I have Sydney, Tokyo, London, and New York pre-market off, I'm not going to get alerts for these sessions, even if I turn these back on. Right? That's not going to update the alert. Now I have to come back in, and I have to, usually what I do is just this. I just change it to something else, and then I change it back, and I hit save. So now that will update to work for the sessions that I have it turned on for. So you guys can set alerts, but just make sure when you set alerts, you set it the way you want it. If you don't want Tokyo alerts, turn that shit off beforehand. Same thing down here. If you turn off one of the execution models, you won't get that execution model, right? If you come down here, you could turn off certain updates, right? So say you just don't want TP updates. You're like, I don't need TP updates. I don't even need updates at all. You just turn that off and then go update your alert. And then you'll only get like entry alerts. So yeah, you guys can set alerts. It's all there for you to do. How much you can do and how much you can set, where you can set it to, that's all depending on your trading plan. So yeah, I gotta really just like make a video on that so people, it's a little confusing. I wish TradingView would make this easier. They really make it a pain in the ass with having to come in and like reset this up every time. I have a different type of alert system, so I don't use TradingView alerts anymore. I have something custom that I built, but it's not going to work for you guys. I set it for 3, 5 minute, and 15 minute. Yeah, I wish TradingView would hire me as an engineer to build them a better alert system. This is just like, I don't know, this is... It could be better. It could be better. But they probably have it set up in a way that makes the most sense for what they want. Alright, yeah, this looks like it's continuing up. Like I said, guys, those Asian session trades are really just they were obvious to me last night that they were gonna be the breadwinners. Out of curiosity, anybody holding anything from last night? I wish I was. I was so mad when you guys tagged me. Or not tagged me, when you guys just were talking in the Discord about these prints, I was so upset. I was literally on my desk. I was just so locked in on what I was doing, man. I just wasn't able to partake. Ah, hold on, let me switch to MNQ. Buy contracts would probably be too risky on a setup like that. Wow, even that's kind of risky. Gotta do a two micros max on. If you did any more than 2 micros on this, you either ran the low or you just didn't care. Yeah, 291. So that's within our usual allowed prop firm risk. Again, could you have tightened this up to the low? Yeah, I guess. Oh, we can't just sell one here. And then your break even on the day. I'm just trying to get an estimation for what this trade could have looked like for me if I had I called it. $700 right now, so it's probably $1,500, $1,700 day so far that we missed out on. I could just do this, can I? No, that's not right. I'm so mad I missed this, dude. I'm so mad I missed this. Not gonna be accurate, but it's alright. I like the alerts stay active. Hopefully. I mean, we went through a little growing period with that where they kept stopping every weekend. I'm pretty sure it doesn't do that anymore. Nobody's complained in a while, so I guess it was accurate. All right. So yeah, we missed out on like $1,100 so far. Sad. Sad. Your boy is not happy with that. We did get a 3-minute print here, which is obviously not working out. Yeah, sometimes they stop. I don't know why, but you just press start. Yeah, it's all you should have to do. I do think it's the weekend. I don't know if it pauses everything on the weekend, but it freaks out when the weekend kicks in. I don't know. You just press start. That's all. Just remember at the beginning of the week just to double check your alerts. I mean, if you go a day and you don't get alerts, you should know they're out. Josh said, no, I got out at TP1. Hit top step limit on eval, so I have to wait for tonight to trade. Oh, okay, well, I mean, that's different. If you have to get out because you're on an eval, that's always different. See, now my question is, though, you hit the limit, right? So let's let's figure out how aggressive he went on this, because if you hit the limit at TP1, you must have had like 4 contracts on it. Because there's no other way you were up 1,500 at TP1. You would have had to have been... What did you have? 4 contracts? You had to have 4 if not 5 contracts on that. Let's see. 4 TP1. Yeah, 4 or 3 maybe. A little risky, man. A little risky. It's $500 a risk, $600 a risk. It's an eval. I mean, I'm not gonna get on it. You can do whatever you want, but I just know how risky that was to be at TP1. That's correct. Yeah, I figured as much. How do you do the entire? Oh, you figured it out. Yeah, the watch list thing, guys, for the alerts is like on the $70 price tier. So if you can't set it to the watch list, I think you need. This is the one that I have. It's like $70 a month if you do it monthly. So I mean, if you guys are pulling payouts, or if you're you got the capital, it's well worth it to not have to set 30 alerts. But yeah, TradingView really do tax you just to set that up. Just jumped. Abel, we're not really looking for anything, brother. A lot of people caught our indicator trade last night from the low of day. And as I kind of put out publicly, that's probably the low of the day. So, yeah, we're not really looking for too much today, man. What we're really looking for in the macro, brother, is just for this to see what happens with the daily and the weekly. Right? Does the daily turn into a lone candle? Does the weekly turn into a lone candle? There's really nothing tradable for us today, unfortunately. The Asian session traders are eaten. So, yeah, we just vibing, brother. Hope you're doing good, though, man. Oh, also, Abel, I gotta text you, but be careful coding today, bro. There's a whole the coding world is on fire today, with a big vulnerability that got pushed to hundreds of millions of projects. So go look into that, brother, and make sure your shit's safe. I was looking for it though, and it tried once, got wrecked, and the scanner printed. Yeah, I heard you say that last night. I'm not really sure what else you would have executed on inside of here. Like, the only thing I would tell you, man, is just like patience. Like if you were playing before this breakdown, like, it's just patience, man. Again, you probably had a good POI. You're probably looking at the area, right? Yeah, man. Again, I'm sure you know the mistakes that you made inside of there. I'm not gonna harp on it too much, but I really just say, like, that's what it comes down to, especially during Asian session. Like, Asian session, typically, like, volume will pick up for like an hour, and that's your window of opportunity. So, I mean, this is perfect. Right after 8 a.m. I'm sorry, right after 8 p.m. into 9 p.m. Like, that's like the golden hour for Asian session. I get scary and I pull out a lot. Yeah, that's something you just gotta work on with time, dude. Again, the biggest way to handle that is partials, right? I've said this a million times, bro. But it's like, there's a reason why we have a TP1 and a TP2. And it's like, and you guys know me, right? Like, TP2 is like the extent of what I like to set, right? There's some people out there that are like, oh, we're gonna smash TP3 and TP6 is smashed, and like, that's just idiotic, because you can't manage a real trade that way. You just can't. Like, 99% of people just, like, you're not scaling out 6 times. It's just ridiculous. So again, like, TP1 for us is pretty much the main TP. I mean, intraday, like, it's very rare you move past a 1 to 3. Right? Like, you'll see people on X talking about this a lot. Like, a lot of the prop traders are like, oh, we trade, 1R. Like, 1R is superior because you can't really capture a 4R trade every day. I mean, and they're typically right? Because a lot of times when we do try, like ask Wally, right? Wally said last week he would have killed it if he was trading 1-1, right? Would have killed it at 1-1R. However, again, for me personally, trading the execution models that I teach and that we use, the indicators and everything, unless you're really cherry picking those, you probably won't be profitable. Because a lot of our super profitable days come from days like today, where we partial out here, we just hold it break even, and then we just milk the shit out of TP2. Right? Like, everything today. Like, there's people right now, like, after 9:30, they're trying to find a trade inside of this garbage price action. And maybe people found something. I don't know. Good for them if they did. But It's like we're just milking all of this as extra beyond TP2. Like, I mean, 930 opened up pretty much at our TP2. So, like, this is where our edge is in terms of profitability. It's like the days where we get to just trail behind this and just milk it and just, you know, we already paid ourselves on the partials. So, when you say, like, you're struggling to hold, 9 out of 10 times, man, is like the partials are meant to hold you over, right? The partials are meant to say, hey, we got the cake. I took my piece out of the cake. I'm going to come back later now and see what's left over. And sometimes that works out great because nobody else took any part of the cake. Sometimes we come back and the entire cake is missing, right? That's when it comes back and to that break even. It's tough on your psychology. I'm going to just be real, right? The way I trade is not for people that are weak in their psychology, right? Some people cannot handle trading at a 35% win rate. Some people cannot handle most of their days being break even, right? I set that expectation with Joe. I never lie. I never try to be, you know, weird about it and say, oh, you know, well, we trade at a 60% win rate with a 1 to 3, and like we're, you know, our system is perfect. Like, it's not. It's like I tell you guys that, like, no system is. I mean, you tell me any trader out there, I'll find a fucking flaw in their system. Anybody, give me any strategy, I'll show you the weak points that they don't talk about. So again, the weak point with ours is that we lose more than we win. We take more break even than profit days. And if you can fight through that, if you can survive through that, if you can live through that, if you can handle that both in the risk management, which is a little bit of a challenge, right? Because you have to take those partials, you have to keep your risk in check. You can't pyramid risk, you can't cascade risk, you can't keep increasing the risk. If you can fight through all that, then the days like today where something prints super beautiful and we get to milk the shit out of it are the days where you're like, all right, cool, like this is my payout day. So again, man, just you gotta just manage it in a way, just be okay with those partials and just understand you're playing a game of like probabilities. And if you prefer to trade 1-to-1 and you prefer something that has a 50, 60, 70% win rate, you know, I could refer you to a few other people that seemingly kill it that way. You know? Jim had me busy. Let me see what we got here. You just learned about row level security? Oh boy, Abel. We need to do a little call, brother. We need to do a little. If you just discovered that, bro, your apps have been at risk for so many like different vectors of attack. It's crazy. Send me your domains. I'll try to break in. I just had my apps go through an independent security review. I passed with some pretty good results. So I'll give you a couple tips and tricks. But yeah, if you don't have RLS, that's not good. Especially for, you know, a couple of your products. That's crazy though. It's actually you being real about the results of trading that made me look at it different. Yeah, no, winning every day is like, I won't say it's unrealistic, because there are people doing it. Again, it's what you guys have to really figure out. And here's the thing that I think most traders do wrong, right? Most traders try to do this. I was like, right, most traders try to find the most profitable strategy based on statistics, right? This is what most people try to do. This is like the dumbest thing you can do, I think. Now, if you're running a bot, right? If you're running a bot, this is what you want to do. You want pure statistics. If your bot's gonna be running 24/7 all the time, it's gonna be entering and exiting trades for you. You're gonna no human input. This is what you want to do. You want to find something based purely on those statistics, because the bot's gonna execute that no problem. It's gonna do exactly how it's coded. It's exactly how the bot's gonna respond. You are not a bot, right? We are not bots, right? So what we have to do is And again, like obviously we still want statistics that are profitable. We're not leaving that part out. But as a manual trader, like you want to find a strategy that essentially what I call is like matches like your personality. Right? And what I mean by this is like everything has to align, right? If you know you're somebody that sucks at making quick decisions, right? If you know that you oftentimes when you're given information that it takes you, you know, you have to think through it, you have to have concrete proof, then strategies like mine, which are playing off of, you know, like technical executions and working on 1 minute, 3 minute time frames, probably not for you. Your personality doesn't allow for that. Same thing. If you know that you can't handle seeing trades move into profits and then come back and knock you at break even most days, then you know this strategy doesn't match your personality, right? If you know that you can't handle more losing days than winning days, then you need to find a strategy that works more consistently than something that doesn't, right? We talk about this all the time. Like, what's the difference between low RR and high RR, right? Low RR typically has wider stops, more room to play, and you're usually out of it relatively quick. Whereas high RR trades are more risky, less of a win rate, and typically you're in them longer because they need more time to work out to achieve those higher Rs. So you really need to find something that, again, matches your personality. And most people just don't know themselves, which is what they really struggle with in trading. Most people are like, oh, I'm going to trade IFEGs because they're super profitable on the 1 minute when you get everything right. It's like, that might not match you, man. You know? So, again, most people just base everything on statistics. And, like, here's another thing, right? This is why I also tell you guys, like, stuff like, even, like, our back table, right? Our back table, like, our stat table is, like, not a representation of how, you know, good we may or may not be at executing on this. Because this is just taking everything, right? There's a bunch of trades that are going to happen that are outside of your window, right? That prints at 5 o'clock in the morning. So you can't go off statistics, right? You could backtest a strategy that's 80% accurate. Right? It's 80% accurate at a 1-to-1. But maybe that strategy only produces those alerts at, you know, primarily at 4 o'clock in the morning. Or maybe at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like, does that help you? I don't know. Are you available at 2 o'clock? I don't know. There's a lot to think about, man. Again, so you want it to match, quote unquote, match your personality. So many people just like, oh, what are the statistics? And they don't try to factor in themselves into the equation, which I think is just weird. Hold on, I'm just making sure nothing printed on any of this stuff while I'm rambling off about nothing here. Yes, YM. Gold is beautiful too. Your strategy matches me. Match made in that. Yeah, I always tell people go with the least psychological resistance. Right? You can make any strategy work. That's why I don't like people that bash on people like that have basic strategies. Like people that bash on Tory Trades. Like there's a lot of stuff that Tory Trades does that I very much disagree with. Right, the fact that like her little training program is $6,500 is fucking retarded. Right, just to put that out there. Like I just think that's just a ridiculous price. Now, if you were working with somebody one-on-one, very personal, all right, that I could understand. But like she passes her education off to like other. It's like you pay for her, but you get like another educator, which is ridiculous. Right, but I'm not going to bash on trend lines because could you build a profitable strategy around trend lines? You probably could. You probably could. It could be that simple. And with enough discernment and enough rules and enough tweaking it, like yeah, it could be profitable for you. Again, for me, unfortunately, my mind just does not accept that as a reality. Like my mind is too complex for that. I can't I can't draw an angled line and be like, all right, well, because of this line and because of this line only, I'm going to expect the market to turn around. Like, I would need other things. That's just, for me, just doesn't make much sense. Again, just top down. So, again, I do believe anything could be profitable. It's just a matter of the perception around it. Alright, stuff has seemingly slowed down here. We don't have any prints. It does seem like we filled out this Newswick from yesterday, though. So we were in an interesting POI. And if I switch the lone candles off the body to the wick... Yeah, see, we're still playing under that 2-hour wick. So I'm gonna keep an eye open here. I don't think we can print anything. To target these lows. Yeah, ES printed engulfing volume. No engulfing candle, though. The Dow... And the Dow made engulfing candle, no volume. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna get no print on these guys. I mean, 15 minutes could print. That's a wild trade, though. That's just not gonna be worth it. ROIs, if we end up erasing this. Again, what is this? This is one of those one-to-one trades. Again, maybe that ends up working out. But I wouldn't, I'm not here for that. Essentially, money is flowing out of metals and stocks and into energy. You can make that argument, yeah. I mean, oil has been going crazy. Oil also, once again, oil had a very nice Asian session trade as well that I've seen here. Was this only on the 5-minute? Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, this had a very nice OB that played out into TP2. Now, whether or not you think that's a good POI, that I don't know. Kind of in no man's land up there. But there was a print on oil as well. Thoughts on Nike? Let's see. Nike. Option. Right. I don't know, man. Do we have thoughts about this shitty stock? What are we looking at here? Let's make me feel I don't see anything I like about this. What do we like about this? Monthly wick fill, maybe? Is that enough? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of effort in these other lows, and we are breaking down on lower efforts, so that's somewhat interesting. The sellers are not really committed down here. So again, I would explore all of this again as a game of tug of war, right? It's like, okay, so sellers put in a lot of volume at this low. Okay, great. Price got taken back up. Buyers put a lot of volume in here, but what did we accomplish? Nothing. The sell side just was like, that's cool. And then it again ended up continuing to fall. More buying volume comes in. Again, like, what is this doing? This is just filling out the gap. Like, okay. You know, no new high comes down. Again, a lot of sell volume here. Again, which is interesting, but at least this is breaking lows and closing strong. Like, yeah, volume is drying up down here, but I don't know. It's like there's... Like, you would make the argument that sellers are weaker down here, but where are the buyers? Like, the buyers need to show their hand. Like, I am not gonna just bet on the buyers because the sellers are getting weaker. The sellers could stay weak if the buyers fucking just give up. So, I don't know. I'm not really seeing too much I like down here, if I'm being real. I think maybe it has potential to develop something, but... yeah, outside of that, I'm not really seeing anything that I like. I don't know, man. I mean, if this made like a nice weekly engulfing candle with engulfing volume, I mean, it would be below the average. But I'll give that a pass on the weekly. But yeah, I don't really see anything that I like here, man. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's also been getting beaten down into shit, so it's like, okay, like, maybe this still wants these lows, you know, fill out this wick, maybe, so, I don't know, like, 48 is still in its future, would be my guess. 5-minute A in gold, check that out real quick. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like, do you want to fight? Do you want to fight this? Again, do I want to? I look at this and I see two separate springs. I see accumulation spring. Like, yeah, we took out this high, but again, do I want to fight this? Like, strictly speaking, not really. I mean, not without something inverse of that. I mean, if we, like, you know, did that and then printed, like maybe. Again, guys, it's tough to fight. It's tough to fight these prints. Especially since you have both, like, two of them back to back. I mean, I have it turned off for that session, but I don't know. That's tough to fight. It's tough to fight. I'd be more open to taking, like, if NQ formed something because you have untaken. You know, it's like this had a spring. Okay, we reaccumulated, but there's no spring here. So I'd be okay trading into this. On gold, I'm a little bit more skeptical. Honestly, I kind of do want to, like, short NQ. I'm not going to do it because there's no execution print, but it would not surprise me at all for this to fucking, like, turn around and take out these lows. It would not surprise me at all. Especially after taking out, like, this data wick. That shit would not surprise me at all. I'm actually kind of hoping this makes a new high, so we can maybe print something here and target this. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we all know that's strong. So it's trading away from it is tough. Because I said that, gold probably finds some sort of reason to fall and, like, produce profits here. Again, it's not something I would personally want to put risk behind. Yeah, it's a shame we didn't get printed. If ES would have printed, I could have been open to this. But we'll keep our eyes on that. We'll see if, again, maybe, you know, it's like you're playing with that high. Do we trade back into this lone candle? Do we take out all of this? Again, I would really welcome this to just make just one more high, just so we can print something and take that. I'd also be open to this doing this after rollover. I mean, after rollover would be most ideal, just because then we can play it with the idea that the daily candles turn into that lone candle, which I guess for ES don't really make much sense because that other candle closed bullish, but yeah, see, like NQ pushing up here. Like, let's see if she does something for us. Yeah, I'll give this to like 10:30. So if you guys have other questions, comments, concerns, feel free to drop those in the chat. Otherwise, I think we pay attention during Asian session today. See if we print something worthwhile to come down into these lows. Let's not, I will say though, I don't want to hyper commit to that because, like, I mean, Trump keeps talking about how, you know, Iran, like that peace over with Iran, or like us ending that, you know, so that's going to add some volatility. So we just have to keep an eye that nothing gets like a lot better over there, like super confirmed. Me real quick, I'm just gonna take a search for Trump headlines this morning. Yeah, Trump's very firm that we are like close to victory. I don't know. He's been saying this for a while, though. I feel like he says this, then Iran says something different. Not that I trust Iran at all. And not that I specifically trust Trump either, to be telling the truth. We are moving into NFP this week as well. An unemployment rate forecasted at 4.4. Again, I would like to see this uptick to 4.5. I would like to see unemployment. Not again. I say this with, you know, I don't really want to see anybody get unemployed, but I do expect this to eventually uptick to 4.5. So it would be nice to see that coming into April. And we have inflation next week, which should be interesting as well. Yeah, I'm not expecting anything drastic out of NFP. I would just like to see unemployment ever so slightly tick up. Remember, this is a long-term cascading thing, right? As unemployment again rises, we have to operate under the assumption that consumers will tighten up on their spending. When they tighten up on their spending, that's going to affect earnings. When that affects earnings, it makes companies decide to do things that they can control, like further cutoffs, just because, again, the easiest thing to do is to trim, you know, again, as companies begin to invest in R&D and just stuff like that over time, they typically overhire, right? Like Microsoft, Apple, they all typically over-employ for the most part. It's always easier just to trim that off later if they need to, when things get tough. So, again, we've seen that with a couple companies recently. Again, some of them cite AI, some of them don't. I also think the AI bubble, you can, whether you believe it's a bubble or not is up to you. I just like to use that word because it's commonly thrown around. I do think, again, like the AI bubble is going to cause problems in the future. I think a lot of these companies, they're doing two things, right? So here's what I have to say about companies laying off people because of AI. Is AI costs right now, for the most part, are heavily subsidized. So what companies like OpenAI and Claude are doing, and of course, like, enterprise pricing is always a little bit different in their agreements, but what they're doing is, like, for a while, like, you know, pricing is VC funded. So it's like these companies have got so much investment into them that they can run at losses for however long they can do that. The reason they do that is they want to capture an audience, a user base. So if you have companies like Epic Games, for example, that fire 1,000 people, and maybe they're beginning to lean into AI because they can achieve more for less. It's like, okay, so they fired those people, they're saving money, they're achieving more because of AI. But what happens when the AI costs are not VC funded anymore, and then it becomes more expensive? Do they at that point lean off the AI, which then affects the bottom line of companies like OpenAI and Anthropic? And then do they start losing customer base? Do they start hiring? What becomes of that? Because again, I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it right now. Using AI is a blessing because it's cheap as shit. It's dirt cheap. Like, I shouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing with AI for the cost that I'm doing it. I am paying pennies. I'm basically robbing Anthropic and OpenAI blind, right? Anybody that's using them in any, like, real matter throughout the day, if you're hitting limits, you are robbing these companies blind. It is costing them probably 4 to 5 times the amount of money that they're extracting from you. And that's got to end at some point. And that's going to affect usage. It's going to affect people like me who are just, you know, going to look for cheaper alternatives and stuff like that. So I do think that bubble eventually breaks. It's just a matter of when does the VC money dry up, and then what's the response on the enterprise side, and what's the response on the consumer side to that type of action. And I think a lot of that is going to get boiled in with the unemployment rate, because again, you have people, you know, laying people off because of that, and companies, you know, claiming more productivity when, strictly speaking, the productivity is being subsidized. So yeah, all very interesting things, man. Again, like, not like, I don't say this to drive fear to people, but I've made the comparison before that the 2020s are eerily similar to the 1920s. So I think that our stock market boom is very much like the boom in the 20s. Yes, there's different things happening, but I think this all ends really badly. Ultimately, I think moving into 2030, I think we actually enter, like, what I call Depression 2.0. Again, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I mean, I hope it, because I want to scoop up a bunch of shit super cheap. So there's a little bit of that involved, but I do think we see a Depression 2.0. And I would encourage you guys to just go open up ChatGPT or Claude or something and just ask about the 1920s, and specifically how the boom happened, when it began to turn, some of the things involved with that, and then compare it to today and tell me that it's not eerily similar. Yeah, I think 17 NQ is in the books. Again, the timeline on it might be rough. It's 2026, again, into 2030. Some of you guys won't even be trading anymore. Some of you guys will have given up by then. So, again, it doesn't really matter for you. But for those of you that are, like, long-term invested, I do think it gets really ugly into, like, the later years of this. Right, just keeping in mind that the 2020, like, all of this rally started with COVID and the massive money printing that we did. And all I'm saying is the 1920s started a very similar way, with pandemics and money printing, and then big economic boom because of all the stimulus. And yeah, again, we'll see if I'm right. See if I'm right into the macro. All right, something else that happened in the 1920s too was like the rise of like retail investments as well. I think we're seeing another boom with that. Less so, I mean, like you have a bunch of people using Robinhood, and you have people margin trading and trading futures. But I think the real trigger is prediction markets. I think prediction markets are going to be what blows everything up. They are a ticking time bomb. All right, NQ, you're so close to just printing a new high candle here. I'll give you a little bit longer. See if we print something. I might have to get off stream for this to print for us, though. It's usually the magic trick. How did I come up with a 17K target for NAT? I mean, it's really just kind of about that monthly wick. Like, again, like, we know that, like, wicks like this typically get filled, and we look for them to get filled. So, that's kind of just, like, where that comes from. Again, if we take a look at this, like, Jordan would, like, same thing. Like, this is, like, a big effort wick, right? This wick contains the most buying volume and everything. So, it makes most sense for me that if we're, you know, going to have a target, like, this wick is the nicest on, like, the monthly. I mean, like, could you find other, like, you know, POIs? You could be like, oh, you know, we got this little lone candle here with the gap. You could. I just think that this is the most beautiful monthly target if you're going to look at that. You know? Again, like ES, like same thing. Like, you know, it's just giant wick for no reason. Again, like the DAT, like, you know, it lives everywhere. I think, again, based off the logic that like we follow with like those big wicks kind of like filling out, like why wouldn't I look there? You know? That's really what it is. It's just, you know, it's not like mathematical by any measure. Also, there was a couple of things I was looking at too with that. Just to, oh, I'm already on NQ. You know, it's like if we did like enter like depression like activity. I mean, from high to low, it's like 35%. So I just feel like if we take this out, like that's where you know, that's just the most obvious higher time frame area that matches up with those tinfoil hat theories. Because that's what that is. It is a tinfoil hat theory. I know it sounds crazy. I know there's a high probability that I'm probably wrong. That is why I'm such an advocate about it, though. Yeah, no doubt. I'm gonna give this 5 more minutes here, guys. We'll see if anything prints. If not, you know, again, we're all in the Discord, and if you're not, well, then you're on your own then for the day. But we'll see if anything prints here. Again, the 3-minute, we're probably not gonna get an OB print. There's no high volume, so we're not gonna get an absorption print. ES hasn't quite broken higher yet. Again, moving average wise, we're not gonna print anything here. Yeah, the Dow wasn't even able to get back up. Yeah, we'll wrap up today there, guys. Again, Asian session traders, really the breadwinners on that OB overnight. Shout out to y'all that caught it and exited for any reason, whether it was this morning through trailing stops or those just eval limitations. But it's your boy Skag, and I'm tuning out for now. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, hopefully for some executions, if not this Asian session. But love and appreciate y'all. I'm out of here. Also, somebody remind me to make an ending screen, because I keep forgetting to do that. Peace.